Yes. Welcome to Fighter State of Mind. I believe it's episode 6, right?
That's correct, bro.
Thank you very much. I love when my friends check me out. Not check me out, but check me,
Pause.
as you say. Pause. Not check me out, not checkmate, check me. All right. Listen.
It's going to be one of them shows,
It's
yeah?
going to be one of those shows, but seriously.
We're inclusive over here, so no one should feel discriminated still.
That's what we're talking about. But listen, this is the number one podcast where we talk about all the stuff in the fight game, whether it's the boxing or the UFC, whether it's two men in the back of an alley fighting. We're there to talk about it, to give our opinions, to break it all down. Listen, you know what it is. Of course, you've got me, the Maverick, aka Mr. Black, all black everything. Word to Young Jeezy. Yep. Of course, I'm here, my brothers.
Yes, man. Brother Scientifik, aka Silas.
The Riddler, the one and only, the fans champion. I'm here to represent you guys.
The fans fan. The Pute is Putin. The Pute is Putin. But listen. Remember, please, like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We need you to subscribe so you can come back all the time. See the content. We're going to be talking about all the fights, the important topics, everything. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, man. I always ask for the man them to join the conversation, and I think Wilder Fury 3 has bore it out, man. Now, man's getting bare DMs. You lot been seeing these, yeah?
Yes.
Bare man in the DMs. They want to talk about this thing. It's still buzzing. It's still going on. But one guy in particular, at Mr. Garvey. He's got a question for man, and I thought this is a good one to start off with. So yeah, let's go.
Just a quick question. Was the Wilder Fury Part 3 fight as epic as everyone's saying it was, or are just people gassing out here? Let me know.
I've got one question.
Okay, man's rushing 2 at a time. But yeah, I think fundamentally, bro, I don't know. Do you know what? Take the floor, please, Riddler. You've been a bit quiet there still.
Hey, I'm just soaking it all in, mate. Soaking it all in. Listen, it was a wicked fight. It was a tremendous fight. It will go down in the history books as a good fight. That's where that's what I got from it. I was extremely entertained, but I think people are forgetting. Maybe it's because we've been starved, the pandemic, this was a long wait and it was worth the wait. But I honestly do feel that people need to, look back to some awesome fights that we've seen across the years. And, it's kind of clouded their judgment in this, in today's climate, while people are kind of rushing the gun to say, oh my days, this is the best. I mean, people are putting this down as one of the best in history, like it's top 5. And I'm like, whoa, you got to slow down on that a little bit. Like, it was a massive fight and I liked it, and I will watch that fight back to back. I think it will go down as a modern day classic. But
well, I don't know, Maverick, I think you're probably eager to jump in there. I just wanted to quickly say though, because you mentioned something, it's the best in history, but history is is specific to people, innit? Because if you're a young man in your 20s, really and truly, your history is limited, isn't it? So I respect a man that may think that this is the best, but I just want to let man know that, there's, like you're saying, Riddler, there's a lot of big things that have been going on before that, man. So man need to do their Googles and do their history. Do you know what I mean? But fundamentally, I do agree. It's a great fight. Everyone loves a knockdown, but it was quite one-sided, though, wasn't it? Really, if not for Wilder's knockdowns, it was quite one-sided. In terms of getting back in history, I wouldn't be able to place it there. But I think everyone's really eager to say that, it's this label or that label. People want to pigeonhole it. Do you know what I mean? But it's like Jay-Z says, isn't it? It's like, is this a tallest midget argument? Do you know what I mean? Is it the best trilogy? Is it the best fight between UK and US heavyweights? Is it the best fight ever on an October night? Bro, it was just a good fight. Innit? Let's not make it the best of the best.
October night. I fought at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Do you know what I'm saying?
No, listen, I'm gonna echo everything. I think there's a recency bias that happens, first of all, when it comes to these things, right? And I'll say, like, the hype, the weight that everyone was, all the controversy beforehand made this fight as exciting. You felt the electricity in the air. You know, if The Rock was there, it would be, you know, he'd be saying, "Do you smell it?" Right? But the reality is this, right? It was like you said, it was a one-sided beatdown. Like, let's cast the minds back a few years back when AJ fought Vladimir Klitschko, for example, right? That was a back and forth, and everyone was saying that's one of the best, you know, heavyweight fights they've ever seen. You know, 3 knockdowns, AJ, you know, AJ coming, you know, getting off the floor for the first time, etc., right?
Yeah.
And so now all of a sudden we've moved, you know, wherever it is, 6 years on, and now we're saying this is one of the best. And I mean, if we compare it to possibly one of the greatest the greatest heavyweight fight ever, you know, in Africa, you know, when Big George and man like Muhammad Ali slugged it out. I mean, it was nothing like that. It wasn't a back and forth. It was that was quite
one-sided, though, wasn't it? Though, really and truly.
It was rope-a-dope more than one-sided, to be honest.
Yeah.
But when we take this fight, right, and I'll finish very quickly. You know, when we take this fight, apart from the knockdown in the 4th round by Wilder, or the 2 knockdowns in the 4th round by Wilder, it was literally a one-sided beatdown from Tyson Fury, and and we have to just, you know, we have to put it in the context of, you know, it's not a Rick Bowe Holyfield.
In fairness, I think, you know, we have to give credit where credit's due as well, because sometimes we can, not saying that you're directly saying this, Maverick, but we've got a tendency on a whole to say, oh, if it wasn't for this, if it wasn't for that, you know, we have to place the actual fight and pull it into context of what it actually was, and those things take place. So we can't just start eradicating and erasing things. This is what made it.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. That's what made the actual fight. So we can't then turn around and say, oh, if it wasn't for the knockdowns, this is why it was a good fight. And people are going crazy. And I mean, Wilder showed a lot of tenacity, and I do believe, you know, Fury had to do the same and dig deep.
That's a fact.
Which is probably why people are saying, "Yo, this is a top heavyweight fight."
Let's go ahead. So I was going to say very quickly, and I'm not shitting on it because I've watched that fight at least 6 times now. So, you know, it's still a very, very exciting fight.
I can imagine you with your popcorn just laughing every time Wilder gets knocked down.
I can imagine you crying every time Wilder gets knocked down. But let's go to the next one.
Do you know what's interesting though? Yeah, because I think in the last episode, you were Maverick. He was trying to take it back in history. He was trying to take it back. I was. And now you come up again with you know, Muhammad Ali, Rumble in the Jungle and that, but it's interesting though. I was mocking you, but man was chatting with Ohms at One Stop Hip Hop Shop, and he came out with this. He sent man this DM still.
Question for you guys. There's been a lot of comparing Tyson Fury to some of the old legends. Do you think he's as good as someone like Lennox Lewis? Could Lennox Lewis get up after taking a hammer from Deontay Wilder? Interesting.
I just want to quickly go on. I think you're going to say what I'm about to say.
Who is Deontay? But you know what?
I've heard Beyonce Wilder. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe this is the evolution. Man got beaten so bad, he's Deontay now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so he went from twerking to Jodeci. All right, I see how it is.
Real talk though. I think it is a valid question. You know, it's a valid question, and I just want to add my little 2 cents quickly. Like, bro, you know, like nostalgia is a mad thing, bro. Yeah, like I had a Super Nintendo when I was like 10, and I don't know if you remember when the SNES Minis came out recently. I was so excited. I was trying to get my hands on them, all of that, bruv, and finally I got one. Bruv, I played it once. I played it once. I was like, what is this? This is crap. Do you know what I'm saying? So nostalgia does that. It creates bias, you know. And I think saying that, I say that to say this, right? We look back at these old fighters, right? And we just put them on like God level, like, you know what I'm saying? They're invincible. But in fact, I think that these current fighters are big, and they're bigger than a lot of these guys size-wise, and they're actually creating their own history. Like, we look at Wilder's KO record, we can talk about his padded or whatever, but the fact of the matter is he's knocked out a bunch of grown men. Do you know what I'm saying? A whole bunch of them. You know, we look at Fury's versatility, we can look at AJ's his business acumen, you know. you know, they're all doing their own thing, and I think they should be respected alongside with them old school, man. But to be fair, I think Fury's probably the best out of these guys, and he would probably hold his own in that era, in my perspective.
I didn't like the way you, you know,
Disrespecting AJ, right?
Spoke of
What?
Wilder's and Lennox Lewis's. I'm sorry, Wilder's and Tyson Fury's actual boxing attributes. But when it came to AJ, oh, his business acumen, like he ain't got no skill.
No, but that's what he's going to be remembered for.
No,
isn't it?
but fun and joke aside, it's. I get what you mean. It's they've got a lot. You know, people got to start recognizing that they brought boxing to new heights. You know, and I just believe that era, it was almost untouchable. Dare I say untouchable? And that's with everything, with music, with the game consoles. So that hassle with SNES. But you know, with athletics, with wrestling, music, it was just a time, isn't it? It was a different time, a different space, and again, that nostalgia, man. But to say that these guys could just hang, I'd say, whoa, you know, we had a lot of heavy guys back then.
What do you mean, like back? Okay, I'm with you.
You know, there was you know, I have to be honest. I mean, I guess that's why some of these old timers are saying, no way, they will never be able to hang in that era, Holyfield. And do you know what it is? I think because there was an array of boxers, where now it's just it's just three elite men against a lot of gatekeepers who I still want to see. But back then, it just seemed like, man, you had elite gatekeepers, you had garbage man that was still doing their thing. You get what I'm saying? It was just
that's a valid point. Maybe that's what it is. Like you're saying, there's much more quality at that point. But then I guess maybe the question is the peaks higher now? Are the elite guys better than the elite guys then? You know what I mean? So yeah, Maverick, I'm sure you want to diss with Deontay Wilder at this point.
No. I just first of all find it very disrespectful that you guys have said three guys at the top and left out the guy who holds all the belts apart from the WC right now, which is Usyk. I mean, what is going on? So you guys are first of all, you guys are very disrespectful.
He's a newlywed.
I don't care. You should apologize.
He's a newlywed, Maverick.
It doesn't matter. I don't care. Second of all, let's be real, right? Look, first, like, don't get me wrong. Guys now are bigger, faster, stronger. You know, the sports science has taken these guys to another level in terms of athleticism and everything. And even someone like Tyson Fury, for example, who might look like he's not the most athletic guy, still runs 10 miles and can still do things that.
Do you know it is though? It's the uncastrated wild boar, bro.
Anyways, we're not gonna go into that. We're not gonna go into that.
Hey,
but let's be real. Like the thing about the old timers, and that sounds rude, but I don't mean it rude. But the thing about the old timers is that they were more active, right? They had more fights. You know, they were in. Right now, we're starved for heavyweights, big bouts. That's why when this came along, you know, we got excited about it. But let's be real. You know, Wilder against like a George Foreman or Mike Tyson, who if Mike Tyson was 5'11", whatever it is, Wilder would find it very difficult because of his footwork is not that great, right? So I think Lennox Lewis, for example, would probably wipe out most of the guys. Maybe Fury's the only one who would have given him some problems because, again, we're doing recency bias. We're not respecting the fact that those guys were actually very skilled. And also, remember,
Oliver McCall.
I don't care about
Rackman.
I don't
Hasim
care.
Rackman.
I don't care. And what did he do after those things?
Yeah, but I'm saying it happens.
What did he do after?
It?
And also, do you remember this?
Klitschko as well.
He also learns from the Kronk style, and he learns from the original Kronk style as well. So,
great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. It's like, don't get me wrong. Look. I think the most important thing is let's just enjoy people for the eras they're in. But I still think the old guys would have had something for these guys right now, minus the size and speed and power. Actually, maybe I'm talking myself out of this.
But listen, all right, cool. We've compared the old guys or the current guys to the old guys. Now we got to look to the future because you know we've had all these discussions about how many fights the Furies and the AJs and the Wilders have got left. We got to think about who's coming next. And yeah, I don't know. Like that's a question I've asked myself. Who in the new generation is actually doing this thing. And I actually had this conversation with my boy at Coach K. And yeah, this is what he had to say.
Well, I think it's going to be the next up and coming heavyweight. To be honest, with the pool what's around now, I can't. Debar, Joyce, Sanchez, I can't really see. To be honest, I can't really answer that. I don't really see any of them being at any sort of level to take over from what we got now, and what we got now is not even that good apart from Tyson Fury. What do you think? Just a quick question.
Boy, I mean, that was harsh.
Very.
Anyone agree with that?
No, because boxing moves on, man. Like this is the problem. Is like people sometimes get stuck in the ways. It's like how old people should say, back in my days, this is what real hip hop was. It's like things move on. There's gonna be some new guys coming up, and we're gonna forget in the same way we forgot some of the guys in the 90s and the 80s and 70s, etc., etc. But anyways, to answer the point, who's gonna be the next new blood? The easy answer would be big baby, the new big baby Miller. But I'm gonna go left, right, and I'm gonna say Lawrence Okoli, who is currently masquerading as a cruiserweight and cannot do that for so long, and will eventually go up to heavyweight. So, and he's still young enough, I think. So, if you're talking about future dominance, maybe Lawrence.
I find that interesting, because on one hand you're saying that the old school are better, and then now you're saying that they're getting crapper as they get along, but we should just be happy with that.
No, you're misrepresenting what I said. I said people should just enjoy for the eras they're in. You don't need to compare. You don't need to start saying guys are crap now or there's no one going to be good in the future. Let's just.
Boy, it's reality though. Riddler, where you coming from?
Gosh. Yeah. It's I don't know, man. I'm torn, man, because I'm from that era, so I've seen it firsthand, and it was a wicked era. So we're always gonna have these kind of, I don't know, quote unquote barbershop conversations, aren't we? And it's natural. It's a natural thing to compare old school to new school. But back to the question at hand, I feel Dubois, he's gonna come through and shine and do his thing. Because the old school, they're gonna have to die out. I'm talking about within this new school, okay?
Yeah,
the AJs, the Furies, how long they got. So I think, and I do believe people often say like, they can't even carry AJ's bootstrap or Wilder and Fury, and they can't. But it's funny how now time is moving on. They're going to be the ones that's going to be getting the flag. You know what I mean? It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It's just a different time, But I do believe that the kids, he's got a bright future, but he just has to get the, maybe if he gets the right training, preferably sugar.
Now you're happy in it because Sugar's backed it up now, innit?
Yeah, okay. Man, he'll be all right if he gets the right tutelage. But
yeah. No, I hear that. Listen. Mm-hmm. I think that Dubois is a good shout. Lawrence Okoli still has to show and prove. You get me? I remember he was Mr. Dangly, just like dangled all over guys. Don't know how that's going to translate in heavyweight. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, he's definitely one to watch. There's a few other guys as well. Fabio Wardley, he looks interesting. Frank Sanchez, I think he's all right. A Jagba, unfortunately, a little bit robotic. Babic, maybe not big enough. One track mind. But yeah, as you mentioned earlier, Jared Anderson, the new big baby, flipping out. I thought he was amazing. Did you guys see him on the undercard? Yeah. I thought he was amazing. I thought he looked amazing. Power, technique. The guy that he was beating up was just much bigger than him. What's his name? I can't remember. Some Tereshkin or something. But I'm not surprised about the rumors that I heard that, Jared Anderson was giving Fury problems in the camp. I'm not surprised. He banged up this guy in 2 rounds, and he showed a lot of maturity for such a young man who's had like 11 fights. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to say Jared Anderson, but yeah, watch this space, man. But yeah, that's me out anyway.
Cool. Well, there you have it, man. Old school, new school, you need to learn though, as Biggie would say. In closing, I would just like to say that, in the respective eras, I feel that we are getting quality bouts and good fights. You know, if you wanna judge one era against another era, you know, so be it. We're always going to have that. Unfortunately, it is. But I wish people can just limit it and just concentrate on the actual boxing and appreciate that these guys are risking their life getting into the ring for our entertainment.
Yes, Mother Teresa.
You know me, I'm trying to save the world. With that, I'd just like to say, fight a state of mind, be safe, be lucky. We out. Peace.
Peace.